Aleph. Thank you. So on Lamed Hey Amud Aleph, Omar Rava. Tonight's stuff is not so easy. It's a lot of chazorah over the last few blocks. A lot of technicals of how to learn a passuk, how to learn all the pasukim of Kam Levi Derabimine or not. Do you get misa? Do you get malkus with money? Do you get malkus with misa? Do you not? So Omar Rava, yeah. So the Gemara said, yes, 3 lines down from the top. Yeah, we have it. Omar Rava. Is there a mandama that says that somebody who's chayav misa to shoygeg, right? Meaning theoretically he would be chayav misa. Meaning he's not chayav misa to shoygeg. But let's say he did something that would be chayav misa to shoygeg. And should he have to pay now or not? If he's also chayav money or not? So is there a shita that holds that? So Tana and Tvei Chizkiya had a very interesting limud. Maka adam or maka behema. It says if you hit a adam or you hit a behema. Right? The whole passuk is maka behema yishalmena or maka adam yuma. Right? If you hit a behema you have to pay, and if you hit a person you die. Right? So we're going to compare the behema to the person, or really the person to the behema. Ma maka behema loy filter. Boy, bein shageg, bein b'mezid. Just like if you hit a behema, there's no difference. Whether you did it for shageg, whether b'mezid, you always have to pay for the animal. Pay mitzvah, whether you had kavanah, whether you didn't have kavanah. Bein derech yirida l'derech aliyah, whether you did it as you came down, or you did it as you went up. Right? The Gemara in Machlokes in Sanhedrin talks about that if you're on your way up, you hit somebody by mistake on the way up, then you're less culpable than for hitting somebody on the way down. Anyway, so the pattur moment, meaning it's not going to make a difference. By a behemoth, we don't care what happens. If you kill the behemoth, you're going to have to pay for it. Right? The only thing is that's there for is to be mechayev you money. The af maka adam, so too, if somebody hits a person, we're not going to differentiate between shageg mezid, bein mitzvah and shem mitzvah, whether you had kavanah or you didn't have kavanah, bein derech yirida, the derech aliyah, whether you're on your way down, whether you're on your way up, mechayev moment, being mechayev you money. Elul pattur moment, it's going to be patur you for money, meaning the same way that you're chayev by a behemoth for everything. So by a human, you're going to be patur, right? So then. So you see that according to this brayta, according to the son of Daf Yomi, any ma'aser that has a fiyah misa with it, you're going to automatically be passed from dinei mamonos. So how could you say that Rabbi Yochanan holds that when you can't give the person misa, that he's not passed? Meaning here we're saying again the shaila is that when you have somebody who be'etzim should be chayav misa and mammon, but he's not going to be chayav misa either because he did it b'shoigeg or he didn't have asra. So Rabbi Yochanan holds that he's not going to be chayav money either, even though Lamais he's not getting any sort of punishment, since theoretically he was supposed to get punished. Therefore, he's pattur on the money, right? But here we're clearly saying I'm sorry, Rabbi Yochanan is going to say you're chayav on the money, and this price is saying that if you didn't actually get killed, or you're not trying to get killed, then you're going to be pattur. Right? So that's the kasha. The Elok, he also Robin Amar, so he changes the pshat. Robin says that this is the shita. Chayv misa shoygegen. If somebody's chayv misa b'shoygeg, meaning he did something that would be chayv misa, but he did it b'shoygeg, so he's pattur. Kuli amalei pligi to patur, and everybody holds that he's going to be pattur from paying money. Meaning, if he did something that theoretically should be chayav misa, but he did it b'shoygeg, so everybody holds he's going to be pattur. Keep ligi, the chayav malkus, shoygeg and davar acher. It's when he did something that would be chayav malkus b'shoygeg, meaning he's not going to get malkus, but he theoretically should have been chayav malkus, but he did it b'shoygeg. So Rabbi Yochanan, and so Mele is pattur. So the question is, does he have to pay money? Again, theoretically should not have to pay money because he's chayav mammon and malkus. So he only gets the malkus, he doesn't get the mammon. but he's not getting the malkus because he did it b'shogeg. So is he pattur from the money or not? So Rav Yochanan Amar chayiv. Rav Yochanan says he's chayiv. So chayiv mitzvah is kish, chayiv malkus lo is kish. We only make the comparison between for the animals to chayiv mitzvah. We don't do it to malkus. Reish Lakish Amar pattur. But Reish Lakish says pattur. The Ferish ribs the Torah chayiv malkus to chayiv mitzvah. So the Torah says the Ferish that somebody who's chayiv malkus is the same as being chayiv mitzvah. Okay. Heichon ribs the Torah. Where does the Torah say this? Amar Abaya Asya Rasha. It says Rasha twice. It says v'lo ysiklu kayfel lenefesh yisech asher hu Rasha lamuk. Right? There's somebody who's a killer, so he's a Rasha to die. And then it also says how you been hakas a Rasha. Right? It's when you're going to hit the Rasha. Rava. So that's how you see that you compare makas to misa. So they're the same exact thing, and therefore Reish Lakish says that you'd be pattur. If you theoretically would be chayav malkus, even if you don't actually get the malkus, you'd be pattur. Rava Amar Asya Maka. Rava says no. We learn it out from a different passuk of Maka. Right. So one is talking about malkus, and one is talking about the animal. Fine. Okay, so that's how we know that the malkus is considered, according to Reish Lakish, like misa, and therefore you're going to be pattur from money, even if you don't actually get the punishment of the malkus and the misa. Fine. So that Amar Le Rapapa Le Rava. So Rapapa has Kasha Rava. Hey, Maka. Which pasuk of Maka are we talking about? Ilemo Maka Behema Yishameno Maka Adam Yuma said if somebody hits an animal, he's got to pay for it, and if he hits a person, he has to die. High bekatolix. I'm sorry, high bekatolix. That's what you read. That's said by Misa, not by Malkus. Ella, so it can't be that Maka. Ella high Maka, must be Maka. Maka nefesh behema yishamena nefesh tachas nefesh. If you hit the nefesh of a behema, you have to pay. It's a nefesh tachas nefesh. The samachle, and next to the pasuk it says ve'ishki ite mumba misa. If somebody puts a mum into his fellow yid, kasher also keniel delay. The way he wanted to do, we're going to do to him. Right? So high love maki. Right? But that's not a maka. Right? I'm saying, is that not? It's really, it is a fear. The high lamaki, is that not talking about? Isn't that talking about a makkah? Right. So anan. So the answer is anan hakah. We're not learning out makkah. We're learning out from the word hakah. Right. And meaning, why are you giving the person the mum? Through hitting him. So the Gemara asks, how could that be? When does it say that hakah? That's by when you damage your friend. Is somebody who hits his friend a bar tashlumin? Right? We said he's not. Right? We said that he's going to be getting malkus. He's not going to have to pay. Well, the answer is, prutah. No. So if we don't need it for the din of hakah, that's worth. Meaning, if you hit somebody and you hit him with shava prutah, so we don't need that passuk. So today, you and hakah she'ein b'shava prutah. We're going to give it to a hakah that doesn't have a prutah. Right? And we're going to compare it to malkus on Talmud Beis. So what does that mean? It says how can you compare it to somebody who does less than a shava prutah? Right? He's not a bar tashlumin. If you didn't damage somebody less than a shava prutah, then you're not a bar tashlumin. So then why would you have to pay? So the Gemara answers like tzricha bahadi demachia kara shirayin delay. When he was hitting him, he tore his clothing. Right? So it's an interesting case. So what did he do? He hit the guy. He just tapped him. So it's a hit of less than a shava prutah. But he happened to have damaged his shirt, which is more than a shava prutah. Right? So we're saying that the chiddush is you're going to get malkus because of kavola. Somebody just hit a home run. Hold on, let me do it. I'm not that third one rolling a lot. Can you hear me? Can I be heard?
Yeah. We can hear you in Chicago.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I hear you.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. So anyways, we're talking about again where he hit him, so he tore his clothing. So he's going to be. He theoretically he can't be. He's going to get matzah of chavol, and he's pattur from tashlumin. and it's not going to make a difference whether he got hasra or he didn't get hasra. So that's the case. So Amalei Rav Chia. So okay, so that's it. So that's the end of that sugya. Not mamish that sugya, but that part of the sugya of which passuk we learn out all these things from. That somebody who by malkus and money, even if he's not going to get the malkus, he's still going to be pattur from the payment. So now the Gemara goes back and is going to ask a kasha on Tana B'Chitzki. Again, Tana B'Chitzki is compared hitting an animal where you always have to pay for the damage to hitting a human or to killing a human, right? Which we said if somebody does something and he kills a human, even if it's by mistake, he's still going and he's not going to get punished with misa. He's still going to be pattur of something with the rabbi name for a moment. That he compares hitting a person, hitting a behema. Who says that we're talking about during the week, and you can't differentiate between mezid and shoygig? I mean, because if it happened during the week, there's no chiyuv misa al seeing machal Shabbos, right? So you just have your standard weekday thing. Maybe don't want the Shabbos too. Maybe the pasuk's talking about Shabbos. The behema gufa equal a fluge. So then by behema itself, you're going to have to differentiate between whether you did it for shoygig or mezid. Meaning, we thought we're talking about during the week. So by hitting an animal, or hitting an animal on Shabbos is also about making pattur on Shabbos. So we thought we're talking about during the week. So the whole point is that he's chayav anything. Maybe it's so much Shabbos where there will be a difference by behema, right? Well, there will be a difference by behema, because if he did it on purpose, so then he might be pattur from behema because it's from maybe the rabbi. But if not, then he won't be. So it says loy sakadai. Don't think that it can be talking about Shabbos. Why? It says if you hit an animal, okay, and if you hit a person, right? Hey, tell me, so what's the case? What's the case of hitting an animal and hitting a person? If it's somewhere where you didn't get an asra, there was no asra. Why is the guy that when he hit a person, why is he dying? If he hit a person and killed him, why is he dying? The asra somewhere where he did give asra. Shabbos, and if it's on Shabbos, maka behema yishalmena, are you going to pay? You can't pay. Elolah, meaning because it's commonly with the Ramine, and you're going to be chayav misa, so you're not going to be paying. It's commonly with the Ramine. Elolah b'chol, it must be talking about during the week. So there's no way to say that that pasuk is talking about Shabbos, and therefore there's no differentiation between shoygig and mesa. Fine. Some of the Rabbi Now we're going back. Now we're going back further. We're going back to Daf Yomi Keshubos. So Rav Papa is asking a kasha on Rameir. Right? Rameir said, well, Rabbis shot in Rameir. He had said that Rameir does give two punishments. Right? Rameir holds that you do two punishments. Some of the Rabbis the Amar Chiddush who Torah Beknas. That is a Chiddush that we say Beknas. Ba'afagav the Mikdal Mishalem. Right? The Rameir holds that there's a Chiddush. Knas is a Chiddush. So therefore, even though a guy's chayav misa, he's going to have to pay a knas. So according to that, Maknisim Kaman Moikim. Who is our Mishnah? Who's going to be the Tana in our Mishnah? Ikar Rameir. If it's like Rameir, Kasha B'itay, it's going to be a Kasha from the daughter, which is on tomorrow's Daf Yomi, because there we say that the daughter you put from knas. Why wouldn't you be, if it's a Chiddush, or why wouldn't a father who's ma'anas his daughter be chayav in the knas? Right? And if the Reb Nefuni ben Akana, if it's like Reb Nefuni ben Akana, who said that he holds that you can even get malkus in moment, kasha achaisa, you have a kasha from achaisa, because achaisa it also says you pattur. How come you pattur? You should get malkus and mishalin. And Ikar of Yitzchak, this is like a whole, this is a chazor of the whole sugi. And Ikar of Yitzchak, now Yitzchak though is not in our Gemara. Yitzchak is in Makos. Right? So Rabbi Yitzchak holds, the Gemara in Machlokes holds, the Mishnah in Machlokes holds that somebody who's chayav kares also gets malkus, even though he's going to be punished min hashamayim, but we need to punish him in this world too. And Rabbi Yitzchak disagrees. Right? He says that you don't get malkus. So if it's like Rabbi Yitzchak, kasha mamzeres, so then a mamzeres also doesn't get a knas. Why shouldn't he get a knas? Right? So the Gemara asks, Hani isav like Rabbi Yochanan. That's good if you hold like Rabbi Yochanan. Hunami, Hunami mitaris like Rabbi Yochanan. So if you hold like Rabbi Yochanan, meaning if he holds like Rabbi Yochanan, then he can be mitaris like Rabbi Yochanan. Right? Which Rabbi Yochanan says, if he had no hasra, then he's not going to be punished. Reish Lakish, but if he holds like Reish Lakish, that a person is not pattur, even if he didn't have hasra, so how are you going to say pshat in the passuk? Because you can't go like not Rabbi Yochanan and not like any other shittas. Must be he holds like Rabbi Yochanan. Fine. According to Reish Lakish, it says that the Torah of the Ferish was marbe chayve malkus like mitzvah, right? And somebody who's chayiv malkus is going to be pattur from paying, right? Even if he did a b'shoigeg. Man tana the polygal of Rav Nachoni ben Akana. So according to him, who's the one that disagrees with Rav Nachoni ben Akana, right? Because Rav Nachoni ben Akana says that chorus does make you pattur, right? But it's okay, so that's the whole Machlokes. Who is he going like? If he wants to answer, well, then he could say Rav Meir. He can go like Rav Meir, who says that you do pay. The chiddush of knas is that you do pay a knas, even though there's chorus or miso or anything like that. And Rav Yitzchak, or you could say like Rav Yitzchak, right? That you don't get it, you don't get malkus. Okay, extremely difficult. So don't lose. As I'm reading it, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't get it. So. Okay, I apologize. I read that too fast, but okay, it's a little hard Gemara. Okay, now let's do a little bit more. It's a little bit easier. So, Tana Rabbanan. The Rabbanan said, "Arayas the shniyas la'arayas ein lem loy knas v'loy pitui." So the Gemara on Amud Aleph in a minute is going to try and understand what arayas is and what shniyas la'arayas. Normally, arayas is your regular standard. Don't sleep with your mother, sister, aunt, all that type of stuff. And shniyas la'arayas is your aunt or your grandmother, I mean the second level relative. Right? That's the pasuk of the touch, but we're going to see that that's not going to be the touch. But either way, arayas, the shniyas arayas, ein lehen loy knas, they don't get a knas, the loy pitui, and they don't also, there's no knas and no pattur. So Taisus says, what is the lashon of pitui, loy knas and loy pitui? It's the same thing, right? You have a knas for rape, and you have a knas for being mefater, for coercing her. Right, so why is it the Gemara changing it? So, so Taisus brings us there are those that are gifts that ataka garis that the loy einus, not like it's the garis the loy einus, right? Because Peter also has a knas. Okay, either way. So arayas and shniyas arayas don't get a knas, meaning if somebody rapes them, they do not get the knas. Hamama'enes. Right, the good old Mian, that's from Yevamis, that's the girl who lost her father, and the mother and the brothers married her off before 12, she could just walk out on the marriage. So if she did that, she also doesn't get a knas. Right, v'loy pitui, and also not pitui. An islandess is a woman who can't have kids, ein loy knas v'loy pitui. Doesn't have not a knas and not a pitui. By yotzes and shum shemra, and somebody who is mitzi shemra, meaning she went out of the marriage because of shemra, meaning she ended up getting divorced because they had edim that she messed around when she was engaged. Ein lo loy knas v'loy pitui, so she doesn't have a knas and she doesn't have pitui. Okay, so that meaning all these cases they don't have knas. I'm not sure why the Gemara keeps stopping and saying for each one loy knas v'loy pitui. Why didn't it just say the list and then after the list say loy knas v'loy pitui? Okay, so now my arayas and my shniyas arayas. What does it mean arayas and what does it mean the second level arayas? Ilam arayas on Amud Aleph now. Arayas mamish, if you say that arayas means arayas mamish. And shniyas is midivrei soifrim, right? Because we know that shniyas is the rabbanon, meaning the second level of relatives is the rabbanon. Even the midaraisa chazile, since midaraisa they are roy, right? Meaning since lamaisa they would theoretically minatara they're able to be your wife. So amai ein lo knas. Why do they have a knas? Again, we should have said this before. This whole sugya, why are all these pattur from knas? Because they're not possible to be your wife. On different levels, it's not possible to be your wife. Meaning only somebody who has the potential to be a wife could have the knas of being ma'anafa. Right? So it says, amai ein lo knas. Why shouldn't they have a knas? Midaraisa, she is mutter to them, the shniyah. Ella, so it can't be that. Ela arayas must be talking about arayas. Chayve mitzvahs bezdin. Arayas means that they're going to be chayev mitzvahs bezdin. Shnius means chayve krisus. It means chayve krisus. A total different way of explaining arayas and shnius. Right? Again, shnius we thought was just a derabbanan of a second level of relative, and now we're saying no. Arayas means chayve mitzvahs bezdin. Shnius means you would be chayev karas if you slept with them. Ava chayve lavin. But let's say you slept with you ma'anis only chayve lavin. Yesh lehem knas. Then they would have a knas, right? Because theoretically, chayve lavin, according to most opinions, would be that marriage would work. So umani, meaning the initial marriage work, they'd have to get divorced. Umani, so who is that shita? Shimon and Temani. Way back in the beginning of the parak, that's talking about Shimon and Temani, because Shimon and Temani holds that as long as the marriage will work, so then that's enough. Ikadamri is something the other way around. Arayas chayve mitzvahs bezdin. Chayve krisus. Arayas means chayve mitzvahs bezdin and chayve krisus. Shnius is chayve lavin. Is chayve lavin. So who's that like? Money, Reb Shimon ben Menashe. So that's like Reb Shimon ben Menashe, who says that you have, in order to be a woman that you're going to be chayev to give a knas for, it has to be a woman that you can stay married to. And since chayve malkus you can't stay married to, so therefore chayve lavin, I'm sorry, you can't stay married to. So therefore, it would be like that shita that he holds. Since you can't stay married to, so therefore you don't have to give the knas. Okay, all right. I hope that was understandable and stuff. And yeah, bye. As a quick stop. All right. Have yourselves a fine night. Okay. Hello? Anybody there still?